Good day, everyone, and with me on screen is UC Davis, head coach in his 12th season, and believe it or not, he's one of the senior coaches in the Big West Conference. That's Dan Connors online with me. Great to have you back on, Dan.
Boy, it flies by, doesn't it? And
yes, it does.
I can't believe it's been 12 years now, and the conference has changed a lot since then, but it's all been good stuff, and it's fun.
Without a doubt. Well, let's talk about last season. You went 19-10, 13-5 in the Big West. Good for the runner-up spot in the regular season finish. But, wow, quite a season for your Aggies. Can you comment a little bit on what we saw in 2024?
Yeah, I think last season we really came together as a group culturally and defined some goals. And I think one of the biggest shifts was just the team's focus and togetherness and buying into that goal of winning the Big West Conference regular season and the championship, and that buy-in certainly elevated the way we played, it's a nice place to be and to build off of.
I was checking out the information on the releases on your site, and Dan, you have basically are the winningest, or orchestrated the winningest season in program history. What are your thoughts on having that accomplishment at this time of your coaching career?
Well, yeah, I give the credit to the team. I think their engagement and their focus and their ability to put that together was incredible, and their ability to sustain it throughout a 4-month season was very impressive. So, I think it really came down to some quality leadership within the team, and then the buy-in from all of them to really want the best for themselves, the team, and the program.
Well, with that, that resulted in a Big West Women's Volleyball Championship appearance where saw your team advance to the semifinal match and going to a 5th set tiebreak against the eventual champion, Hawaii, in a 5th set tiebreak, falling 15-13. Although it was a loss, your team had an incredible performance in a postseason run. But can you share about that run and how your team was able to turn it on towards the end there?
I think it came down to we were playing good volleyball from the beginning, and that really built some confidence. And I think we had 9 wins in a row, and towards the beginning of the Big West, and then we hit a few stumbling blocks along the way, and had to build back from there. But I think some of the early stuff in our season last year really built some confidence and some belief in what the group was capable of doing, and I think that lended itself to a really nice run toward the end of the season. And they continued to work throughout the season to continue to get better and do what they could to put themselves in position to win the championship. And we did fall a little bit short, but I was very proud of their efforts.
I was looking at your Big West competition schedule from last year, and you had a handful of 5th set tie breaks that, had they gone the other way, you could have been in conference champions, because they're all due set in the 5th set. But it has to speak a lot of the grit and the battle that your team has behind the scenes there.
Yeah, those 5th set tie breaks sometimes they can break you, and I was really proud of how close we were in some of those matches, even though we didn't pull them out, and then the resilience to come back and continue to play our style of volleyball, our brand of volleyball, set after set and match after match. And I think that's a testament to the team's focus and their intention on staying in the moment and just playing the best volleyball they can right now.
Well, let's look here towards the 2025 season. You've concluded the spring season. I believe you're just starting up practice here, but what could we see based on what you've seen so far here in the spring and early on in the fall for your girls?
Well, yeah, I think this team has really wanted to embrace the culture build that kind of got started with last year's group, and so they've evolved a little bit. And I think one of the things that could maybe speak to where this team is at is the purpose statement that they came up with and felt like was a good driving force for their motivation. And that purpose statement is one team, one heart, win for her and win for us. And it's a lot of it's about just being together as a group, supporting each other, and working hard to make each other better. The win for her is their dreams as a kid and within the world of volleyball, winning for that kid that they used to be and achieving their goals, and then also for the young women out there that are playing at the club level, high school level, putting it out there on display for inspiration for younger girls. And the one heart thing is just about the love for the game, the love for each other, the love for UC Davis and the program. And then the win for us, the us actually stands for United Sisterhood, which was a kind of a motto that they came up with, which was about their support for each other, to build a community and a program and a group that was really driven to accomplish something great. And so I think that motto kind of is a good encapsulation of where the mindset is of the group.
It's extremely cool. I have to say, for all of you watching or listening, this preview show, you got to jump on a UC Davis's women's volleyball's Instagram. A lot of the pictures of those shirts are being fielded on their feed. So super cool seeing the girls be excited to get that gear and also rock those shirts. So it's a cool rally cry to go behind.
Yeah, for sure. The gear day they call Christmas when they get all their gear, and that is definitely one of the favorite moments that they get at the beginning of the season.
Let's wanted to look at your team for this upcoming season. You have two pretty big pieces to fill with the graduation of Olivia Utterback and Julia Ng, but who are some key returners that are going to be stepping up their roles here in 2025?
Well, yeah, we do have a large returning group that has quite a bit of experience, so excited for that. Certainly we'll miss Julia and Liv. They were just such key components in what we were doing, but Jade being back, she's been on the court a lot throughout her career, knows our passing system. Jimena, our freshman last year, has really done a good job of stepping into a role where she can kind of run our passing and defensive systems for the team. She has a great understanding now and is really putting herself in a position to take on that libero role. And we also have a couple DSs, McKenna Morrison and Rachel Dunnigan, that are maybe looking to fill in that role that Jimena was playing last year. Mia coming back, setting, she's just a good, solid, all-around setter. She knows our system. She knows what we want to do. And we have a couple good setters right behind her too that continue to push her to get better with Hayden Bones and then our freshman Layla Burgess. We got some good depth in the middle. We're pretty young in the middle still, but with some really good experience. We have both Allies, Chandler and Caldwell, who've gotten a lot of playing time the last 2 years, and Chandler does a great job scoring and getting her hands on balls defensively. Caldwell is just a workhorse and really is a good metaphor for the heart that we want to play with. Her desire, her passion is out there. She lays it on the line. So those two coming back is going to be really, really good to see them. And then Damie Cole, she's coming back and had a really nice spring season. Played a lot in the spring and probably one of our most athletic players, and so I anticipate that she'll see some court time this year as well. And Kendall Rogers, who's going to be a senior, has really done a nice job of just understanding our system and expectations, and so her ability to execute from a middle perspective, what we want from our middles is at a very high level. And then we got a freshman, Faith Patterson, that's also coming into that spot that is catching up real quick. We saw that right away. She's asking great questions. She's wanting to learn, and she's growing fast. So really strong, I think, in the middle position with a lot of depth.
Well, it sounds like you have a pretty solid core with the girls coming back, but this new group sounds like they're really fitting well and blending in, at least chemistry-wise, with what you're doing there at Davis.
For sure. Yeah, that's accurate.
I was looking at your schedule, and I mean, it's one of the most eye-catching schedules because not only do you spend the first entire month of the season on the road, but within that group of matches, Pepperdine, Wisconsin, Stanford, and Cal. I have to ask you what your scheduling philosophy is in regards to team development and experience, because that's a pretty hefty schedule.
Well, yeah, I think if we're wanting to put ourselves out there and say we're wanting to win the Big West and put ourselves in position to win the Big West, put ourselves in position to compete in the NCAA tournament, we got to go play teams that are doing that at a consistent level and competing against those teams and see how we stack up and I also put them on the schedule because I think we have the opportunity to surprise some people and so I think the way we play is at a very high level, and I see that in practice already, and you got to know where you stack up in this game if you want to be playing in December, and so knowing where we stack up right off the bat is important to me and gets the team fired up and excited. So I'm looking forward to all those matches, and it's not going to be easy, but when you get into this business, there's not really much that's easy. So looking forward to it.
The fire makes you stronger, right? What has you most excited about the upcoming 25 season?
Most excited, I think, is just to see, like, they've this is probably in my 11 years, this is probably the most focused and committed off season that I've been a part of with the group here, and so I'm just really excited to see how that shows up in season and where that puts them as far as how close we are to playing at the peak level of what I think we can play, and also seeing how they work through different challenges and adversity, because they really built a strong foundation of culture and also volleyball to work from.
Well, with that, I wanted to see and get your thoughts about what you think competition is going to be like here in 2025 in the Big West.
Yeah, well, again, Big West has historically always been a very strong conference, and looking at where teams were last year and preseason rosters, I see another very strong conference. I think I talk about this all the time with my team, but there's no nights off. You can't just kind of cruise and expect to win. You got to show up and play your best volleyball night in, night out if you want a shot at winning the Big West Championship. So I think we saw that really come to fruition last year, as there's no team that really dominated night in, night out. Cal Poly certainly consistent and earned that regular season championship. But there were wins and losses from top to bottom last year, and the gap between the team that's winning the conference and the team at the bottom of the conference is not very big. So you got to be ready to show up.
All right, Dan, one final question for you before we depart from our interview. But what is your only the bold prediction here in 2025 in the Big West?
Well, yeah, I think personally, my prediction is just going to be that you're going to see some Aggie volleyball being played in December.
There we go. Short and sweet. That's Dan Connors of UC Davis. Appreciate your time here this afternoon.
Thanks, Rob.